tricks in his bag.
Yo, we are back. Welcome to the Easy to Talk To podcast, man, with your host TWC Too Easy. It's been a while. I want to say a little over a year, or right at a year. A lot has happened. A lot has changed. But nonetheless, I've been trying to come back. I finally made it. This is episode number 32. Actually, the Mystic Flames episode. With my special guest, one of my great friends, and a sister of mine, Miss Lady Blue Flames. So we're gonna go ahead and bring her in real quick. Miss Blue Flames, are we there?
Yes, we are here.
Hey, there she is. So, yeah, I know how this goes. Normally, I like to start off by like how I met my guests, because I never have like really a stranger on the show. So I met Lady Blue Flames. I want to say it's about going on like a year and a half now, in which time really flies for some reason. And it doesn't feel like it's been that long, where it's like approaching 2 years, but it really has. But I met Lady Blue Flames through Parker, I believe. I think she rated her, and I was just intrigued by like how genuine Lady Blue Flames was. But it just so happened that because I think it was one of those situations where I went to, all right, Parker rated, and then I stayed there for a little bit. I didn't follow, but then like I like went to somebody else's stream, and then they rated her, so I ended up back in the stream. And I think that happened again, but all in the same day. So I think the third time I was just like, you know what? I guess I'm supposed to be here, so I'm gonna follow, and I'm just gonna go from there, like, you know. So but still to this day, it's one of the best decisions I ever made, because if you listen to episode 31, I went into kind of like a detail of like what happened to me as far as losing my aunt, getting the news about my daughter, and things like that. But what I didn't say was how instrumental Lady Blue Flames was in getting me through that dark time. There was a time she was like, I don't know, it's just like she's just like an angel. Uh, maybe my guardian angel at that time. Because whenever it never failed. Like whenever um I needed something, it's like she was there. But I didn't ask her for like for anything. It was weird, right? So there was a time where like I needed, I forgot what it was, but I was, whatever it was, I was like 30 something dollars short. And then she hit me up saying that I won like a giveaway or something, uh for like 30 something dollars. Like it was crazy. I was like, it was stuff like that. Um but she always checked on me, and the family, seeing how we were doing, seeing if we needed anything. Like she was just always there. Um and that kind of support really really helped me, because y'all know me, man. Y'all know that I do the supporting, I do the checking on people and stuff like that. It's rare when I get that back. So when I get that back, I always try to hold on to it. And I appreciate it so so much. um so lady, um I'm pretty sure you over there. Like I could just listen to this all day. Yeah. But nah. So how you feeling, Blue Queen? Because I don't think I ever said that to you
No,
out loud.
I didn't know any
Uh
of that. It's funny
yeah.
that you ended up in my channel through raids multiple times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. That's something that happened.
That's hilarious. But I mean, I'm feeling good. It's, I don't know, for me, I've always grown up with you know, we've never had like a lot,
Yeah.
but there was always love. And then if somebody had extra, we were willing to help each other out. And so that's just kind of how I've always been with people that are in my circle, and just checking on people, making sure they're good. And if I have a little extra, I don't mind just sending somebody something random and they can do whatever they want with it. Or even if I'm just out and I see something that makes me think of them, if I can get it, I will generally get it and send it to them. So I don't know. I think I kind of always been that way.
Yeah. And but you could just tell, like how great, I guess how great of a person you are, just by just being in them, uh being in your streams. And um that's a great segue to uh how I like to start my interviews. um the first thing I wanted to ask is, what made you like start streaming? What made you, is it one of those things where um you saw the potential as far as like a job goes, or it was just like, you know what, I think this is okay, let me just hit the button and see what happens?
It honestly, it started out really random. Um, because let's see, right before I started streaming, I had like a situation happen, personal situation that a decision was made that I wasn't happy with, but I had to deal with it and kind of move forward.
Okay.
And at that time, I was mostly watching streams because I was already gaming. So I was watching people and, talking in communities and just watching other people stream, having a good time and just like making friends. And um, one day, my daughter was like, "You should stream too," and I was like, "I don't know if I got the personality for it, but we'll see." And so I literally, like, honestly started to just start getting pieces because I hadn't made a decision yet. And so initially it was like, okay, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need stuff. And so I started getting stuff piece by piece. If I had money for it, like getting the camera, I had already had overlays, emotes, and all that stuff made even before I even like made the actual decision to start streaming. Um, and then what really made me do it is when 2K announced that they were putting the WNBA mode in the game. And so that really like was like, oh yeah, I need to stream because I'm definitely gonna stream that. Like I don't care if nobody else does, but I'm gonna be streaming the W mode. And so I think that was like the last piece that really made me go forward and decide to stream. Because then at that point it's like, okay, now I actually know what I want to stream. Whereas before I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna stream, so I really didn't want to do it. But once
Okay.
they made that announcement, and then I found out it was going to be on next gen, so I figured out a way that I was going to be able to get a next gen console because I knew like that's what my streams were going to mostly be was the W mode on 2K. Being such a huge fan of the league, like that was just like it just all like fell into place, like I guess at the right time, if you would say, because it was at a time where I was able to start collecting my stuff, so that I can actually have a stream set up. Even if
Right.
it was beginner stuff, it was there and it was working. So, um, but yeah, so that's essentially how all that started.
So out of everyone that I know, so um I support a ton of women.
Hmm.
Um
You sure do.
because I understand how tough it is for women in gaming and streaming and things like that. Um so with that being said, you are probably one of the biggest WNBA fans that I know. Um, but uh, the thing that I see from WNBA supporters, um, that's a little different from the NBA, is how okay. So your team is the Mystics,
Yep.
right? But I don't I don't really see um I don't really see like rivalry, like hate, so to say. So like in the NBA, if there's a Celtics fan, they don't like the Lakers and they don't want to see the Lakers do well. They don't want like none of that. Like and they don't like the Lakers fans. But I feel like in the WNBA, from just the people that I've seen that support them heavy, um, they have their team, but I don't see them like I don't see a lot of dislike or disdain for like other teams. Uh, maybe like individual here and there, but like for the most part, I feel like WNBA fans kind of like stick together, and even if
Hmm.
their team like don't do really like well, they still support.
Yeah.
Um, what is there like a method to that, or is it just it's just women sticking together kind of thing?
I just think it's just the fan base itself realizes how good the product is as a whole.
Mm,
And given the fact that there's also already so much negativity towards women's sports, that if we have that negativity within the league too, like that's not going to help the product grow.
gotcha.
And so, from high school to college to pros, even on a national stage, like there's already either no visibility, there's negativity, there's a lot of hate, and so the people that are fans of the women's game are generally literally fans of the women's game, regardless of who their team is.
Right.
Um, and you have those rivalries, and people play bigger back and forth, but at the end of the day we all want to see either the league or women's college sports or whichever whatever area it is for women's sports. We want to see the whole thing successful regardless of who our team is.
So
And so I think that is one big difference with the league, and it's been fun to be a part of it because when playoffs happen, you definitely know who's on whose team, and they be trying to hope this team lose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But but like you said, for the most part, like we all want to see the league be successful. We want to see the league grow. We want to see more teams. We want to see more players. And I also think too, because there's just a lot of great stories across the league
It really
in so
is.
many different ways for people to relate or find a player that they're just like, oh, I love this player. Like I love how she is on the court. I love how she is off the court. Because we see a lot more of them off the court as well. If you're into the league and into that space, like you get a lot of information about these players even outside of the season as well. And so you get a better picture of all the players than just like their stats.
Gotcha. So how far as like the levels of like uh women's like basketball do you follow? Like is it just the WNBA? Is it college? Is it high school? Like
I follow college, I follow
okay.
the WNBA, and then of course I follow when the USC team plays. Um,
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
follow a lot of sports, mostly from college on, just because I don't really know that many people on the high school scene. So I really don't be knowing that much about the high school. But once
Uh-huh.
they hit college, I'm hearing about everybody because I want to know who's eventually going into the W and all that. So I definitely pay
Uh
attention to college and the W and then the national level. Um, I mostly follow the women's basketball and the women's soccer. I love watching the women's soccer too.
okay. Have you ever like have you ever coached or have you ever thought about coaching?
I coached high school for 4 years,
4 years. Okay. See, I didn't know
and
that.
I liked coaching, but I think if I got back into coaching, it would have to be at a higher level
A
because I
higher
did
level. Okay.
realize like just kind of my approach tends to be a little bit too uh difficult sometimes for the high school level. Just because at the high school level, there's the spectrum of like people's commitment is so broad,
Yes.
and I that part just drives me insane. Like, if you're going to be on a team, I need to know like you're committed to being on the team,
Oh,
even if
trust
you're
me.
not the best player. Like, as long as everybody on the team is working and coming in doing what they're supposed to do, good, we good. But at the high school level, depending on your area, like there are people on the team that are just there. There are people that are serious, and then there are just people that don't know what's going on, and that used to drive me crazy. And so I definitely would have to coach at a higher level if I went back to
uh,
coaching.
not you out there like major flames.
I can't.
That's crazy. Now, and that's why I asked actually um because I figured if you did coach or if you wanted to coach, your approach would be so um I guess serious in a sense.
Yeah.
Um just just because how much you love the game and uh you don't want people to like disrespect the game. If you're gonna come out there and play, you need to be serious. And uh, I always figured that how that was gonna work with
Mhm.
you being a coach. So to know I was right, you know.
Yeah. And it's hard because it's like, I even when I was coaching, I would tell them, like, it's not even just about being that way with basketball. Like, I want them to be that way in life. Like, if you're going to do something,
Exactly.
do it. I was like, I don't care if it's not basketball. If you like, nah, I want to go to soccer. Okay, go to soccer. Go do it. Do it 100%. If it's music, all right, do the music 100%. And so that was kind of one of those things like I try to get across with any younger person that I work with, even when I train, is if you decided you're going to do something, make sure you're going to do it.
Yeah. Were you able to um establish any like winning seasons in those 4 years, or get to the playoff, get to the championship, or anything like that?
We had a winning season probably 3 out of the 4 seasons. One
Okay.
of those seasons was really bad, but for a lot of reasons. But 3 out of 4, I say we had a winning season. I coached JV at high school, but I
Hmm.
also helped with the varsity team. The varsity team actually won the championship my last year coaching, um,
Okay.
and made it all the way to states. So
Hey,
that was really cool. And I
congratulations
mean,
on
I've
that.
worked with a lot of those players. And then one of those players, I worked with her all the way up through her years at D3 college. Um, I trained her in all seasons, and I tried to help people even when basketball season wasn't happening because most of the work is put in the off season.
Yeah.
Anybody that plays sports knows the off season is the key time.
Right. Right. It
um,
is.
and so that was the other thing with coaching high school, like getting some of them to work when it's not basketball season. Like some of them
That's
literally would play during the season, and then after the season, they wouldn't touch a basketball. And I'm like, that makes no sense to me. But
yeah.
that's just
That's
me.
the. I guess that's the difference between being good and great, and then
And
um.
so,
So
yeah.
yeah, I definitely understand that part. Because it was I was I was one of those players when I played. Uh, that was like in middle school when I was like that.
Hmm.
Um, but I I I I took it upon myself to join like I never did like the Boy Scouts or nothing like that, but
Hmm.
um I did get me a mentor and things like that. And what my mentor did for me was just show me there was a there was a different way.
Right.
I didn't have to uh, strive to be rapper or hooper. It was there was other there was just other avenues. Um, but the main thing he taught me that if if I wanted something that I just had to work for it.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly.
So whatever it was, I just had to work for it or put in the
Hmm.
work for it. Um, it wasn't just gonna just happen.
Right.
So I'm forever thankful, forever grateful for that. And that lesson that he taught me. So and that is the difference. In because like I hear people say that they were like Kobe Bryant fans, but then like when I get to know them, they would be they'll be lazy,
Yeah.
and I'm like that's it just doesn't
It
it
don't make no
doesn't
sense.
go like that's not. I don't understand how you a fan of Kobe Bryant and then don't want to do anything to like better your game, better yourself. Like it's not it ain't even. I'm
Right.
not just talking
I
about
will say
basketball.
I was not a Kobe fan initially. I did
How
not become a Kobe fan until I learned about how much he does outside of the game.
man, a lot of people was
When
honestly
I learned about his work ethic, oh, I was like, okay, okay,
yes.
you got me now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the thing that set him. That's the thing that set him apart
That's what
from,
got me.
I think, everyone. Honestly,
Cause when I was like reading his book and I would like watch videos and listen to interviews, I'm like, yo, if I would have made it to the league, that's exactly like the work ethic. I'm like, that would have been me.
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have been worried about anything else. Like, I'm here to play basketball. I'm here to be the best. I'm here to win championships. I don't care about the rest. But yeah.
That's the when I associated you uh, with a player, that would be that was the one that I said. I was like, if that was anybody with with that work ethic, and that the work ethic is like your game grind, your stream grind,
Right.
just always just wanting to be uh, a little better, not being satisfied where you are, and things like that. So I've always associated you with the mama mentality, so to say. Um, and that's been like I said from the beginning. Um, so um, I also wanted to say you are one of. I always want to see my friends um do well,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
And I always want them to, if they have dreams, if they have goals, want them to achieve them. I don't care how they do it, but I want that for them. I
Right.
can honestly say that when you post something uh of like a milestone or an achievement and things like that, I don't know. I feel like I'm like more excited for you because I know, over the year and a half or whatever, I know the struggle,
Yeah.
right? So when stuff happens for you, I get really really excited, um because I feel like you deserve any and everything good, great, amazing that comes your way. Um so when you posted uh the partnership with your team, the Mystic, um I was, man, I was ecstatic because I was like, that had to be like one of the best feelings for her, probably in I know probably in a long time, because I know how things were. And then uh it had to be one of like her ultimate goals, to be affiliated with the team in some kind of way. So how did that come about? Who hit who up? And just explain how that changed your streaming and gaming experience, being affiliated with the actual team.
So what happened was it's a joint thing with Wizards District Gaming, which is the Washington 2K League team for
Oh, okay.
NBA 2K, and then it was with the Mystics. So they posted a flyer on social media that they were looking for someone who would stream the W stuff. And at this point, I had already been streaming the W stuff for almost a year.
Hmm.
And so I saw the flyer, and the first time I actually didn't click on it. I saw it and I was like, "Ah, cool." And I was like, "So many people are probably gonna apply for this." And I just like, went about my business. Um, and it popped up again, and I was like, I'm gonna be kicking myself if I don't apply for this. I was like, I probably won't get it, but I'm gonna kick myself if I never apply.
Hmm.
So I finally filled everything out. Cool, bam, sent. And I think like a couple months went by, and I had almost completely forgot about it, to be honest. And I was in my email one day, and I saw that there was an email from the Mystics Wizards District Gaming, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was so scared to open it. Like I just saw the title and I was like, And so I opened it, and they were like, they looked over my application, and I guess they went to they looked up some of my streams and some of my social media, and they were like, we want to set up an interview. I was like, okay, cool. Um, and so we do the interview, and it's like the video interview over the conference. And for those of you that have been in my streams, I have the jersey wall in the background. And
Yes.
so that was one of the first things. As soon as we started, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you got so many jerseys back there!" And so that like sparked a whole nother conversation before the interview even started. Um, and then we just went over stuff and how long I've been a Mystics fan, which has been since the Mystics were a part of the league, the second year of the league, because they weren't in the initial year. So DCE
Hmm.
didn't have a team the first year of the W, but they got a team during the second season of the league. Um,
Gotcha.
And so we went over that and talked with a bunch of people, some people from Wizards District Gaming, some people from the Mystics. And after that interview, I had a great time. We were vibing, and they were like, "Okay, we'll let you know." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the interview and all that." And then next thing I know, I get an email with a draft of the contract to do the sponsorship. And so looked over the contract, what I was going to be required to do. I probably signed it within like the 30 minutes and sent it back. So I was like, there's no way I was passing up an opportunity to work with my favorite team and then also work with a 2K League team, and getting a piece of both worlds and learning more about that as well, because I didn't know as much about 2K League either. And so that's how that came about. They signed me. They sent me all the overlays and stuff. They sent me gear, so they sent me Mystic stuff. I got Wizards District Gaming stuff that I can wear on stream.
Yeah.
And they were just stream the W, and I was like, cool, that's not hard for me. I love playing the W mode. And so I
Right.
would create
Anyway.
players and just play WNBA and just have a good time and talk with everybody about the league. So the league and sports and fitness are generally the three things I could talk the most about. Most of the time, I don't talk that much, but those three things I could talk about forever.
Yeah. And see, and this is something else that was I guess that was different about being around you and being in your stream and things like that. Um Generally, or I guess normally, you're a quiet person, a reserved person, right? So,
Yes.
but when it when it comes to the WNBA, when it comes to fitness, or when it comes to people, I guess that you love or people that you care about, or I guess in your circle,
Hmm.
it's it's like if they get you started, you ain't gonna say no.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
So, but I find that intriguing. I think it's dope. The fact um that it's you stay in your lane, so you don't really speak about stuff you don't know about and things like that.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
think I think a lot of people should take that approach, because it's easy to just chat about stuff, and but if you don't have no substance or no facts behind it,
Right.
it's just, I don't know. I don't like talking just for conversation sake.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I was like, I've always been an introvert, and so for me, like if I'm going to be talking about something, it better actually be about something like
Right.
something that I know about, something that we can, bounce ideas off each other or just share with each other. Otherwise, I'm chilling, just observing, watching something or playing something, and like I said, like conversations take a lot of energy for me,
Hmm.
and so even like doing a streaming is crazy because like I enjoy it, and I typically end up doing streams longer than I thought I could. But I definitely like once I turn that off, like my house is like dead silent. Like I'm done. Like
And that was another thing too, because like watching the streams and stuff. A couple of hours here and there is one thing, but I think the first time I saw you do like a 10, I think the first time I saw you do like an 8 hour stream,
yeah,
I was like, oh wow.
right.
And then I saw like a 10 hour stream, then I saw like a 12 hour stream, and I was like, oh, she really doing it. Oh, she a streamer now. I was like, okay, see, like what? Um, so in streaming, see, I've been streaming for a while,
Yeah.
and I was streaming before they had like the affiliate program and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I remember how happy or how excited I was when they brought out the affiliate program. I got affiliated, and then I got my first sub. Uh, and then like fast forward a little bit, and then got my first like Twitch check.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can you speak to that experience as far as getting affiliated, getting your first sub, and then getting your first like Twitch check? Like how describe that feeling?
Um, Getting an affiliate was exciting because when I first started streaming, I honestly didn't know if it was going to go well. Because, like you said, like I am like probably one of the chillest, quietest people
Right.
out here, and when I was watching other streams, I'm just like, I'm not as like out there as some of the people that I've seen as far as personality and just like, you know.
Yes. Gotcha.
And
Okay.
so when I first started, I was like, whew, I don't know how long this is gonna go, what's gonna come of it, but we're gonna give it a shot.
Right.
So um I think it took me 2 months to get affiliate,
Okay.
but that's because I was already in like 5 discords before I started streaming. So I was doing a lot of um what is the word I'm looking for? Making connections. That's not the word I'm looking for, but y'all know. I was
Networking.
making a lot more connections before I actually started streaming. And
Yeah.
so it didn't take as long as I thought it was gonna take
Okay.
because of all the people that I was meeting before I actually started. So I think it took me like at most 2 months to get affiliate once I actually started streaming.
That's actually a
Um
good number.
and so when it happened, I was like shocked, but I was like very excited and I was like, wow. I was like, because I was like, every time I noticed if that people were in there, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, people were actually in here, people were actually talking, and I wasn't really paying attention because I literally was just playing the W, and I was excited, more excited that people were actually in there trying to learn about the league than anything else. Like, I didn't even care how many people were in there, just the people that were actually asking questions. I was like, cool, people are coming in, they want to know more, so I'm gonna keep going. Um, and so I hit affiliate. I started streaming in January and I hit affiliate in March. And so my 2 years will be March this year. March 2023 will be 2 years as affiliate. Um,
Hey.
which is crazy. Like it doesn't feel like it's been 2 years, but at the same time it does, but it's gone kind of fast.
So let me
Like
ask
so
you
much has
this.
happened in that 2 years, and most of it is nothing that I expected to happen when I started streaming, like at all.
So do you remember who your first sub was
I'm not
and
gonna
what?
lie, I do not. Like I said, like
Okay.
my I'm very bad about remembering stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like
I was about to say you wanted to give him like a little special
I
shout out or
I
something like
am
that. But yeah.
terrible remembering stuff. I'm quite sure it might be Sugar because
Okay.
I think me and Sugar are each other's first subs. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive it's probably Sugar. Shout out to
Okay.
Sugar Bears Club. Me and her have
Hey.
been rocking since we both started. We started the stream journey basically at the same time, and we've just been cruising ever since. So
Hey.
she's my stream buddy, my game buddy. We play a lot of games together. So shout out Sugar Bears Club.
Shout out Sugar Bears
So
Club. I definitely
I'm pretty sure she was either the first or the second, first or the second sub ever.
want you to come to the show, Suge, and sit down with me and we can have a great interview, I believe. Um and since that is your, I guess, like your gaming duo, uh I would love to bring both of y'all on one day and talk, and that way we could talk about how it is gaming like with someone, like having a support system and things like that. I think
Hmm.
that'd be a dope idea for an
Oh
episode.
yeah,
uh
definitely.
I'm definitely down for that. So shout out Sugar Bears Club for being the first or second sub. um that's, I feel like that's dope in it. So um so I would be just crazy if we got out of this interview and not talk about um, how important fitness is to you, because I know for a fact uh, a couple of your like first streams was fitness related.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you could speak to important fitness is to you, and uh, how important is it to you to promote fitness to others via your stream, via social media, and things like that.
Okay. So I have been certified as a personal trainer since 2008.
Okay.
That's when I initially got certified, and of course, over this course of time, I've taken other courses, added on other certs, and all that. But my initial certification was in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
and so fitness just kind of took the place of being able to play sports because I've always loved sports and I've played a lot of sports. And at a certain point, I had to figure out another way to stay active. Once I started a family and, you know, I was going to have to be doing other stuff, I'm like, I want to be active, but the risk of injuries in sports is just way too high
Yeah.
for me to keep playing sports. Because at the time, I was also playing flag football in the women's league. And if you know anything about flag football, some crazy injuries happen on the flag football field. I don't
Oh
understand
yeah.
why, but they do. Um,
Yeah. Trust.
and so,
Yeah.
and so, uh, learning how to be a trainer kind of helped me channel that energy somewhere else, where since I couldn't compete in actual sports anymore. And so once I had learned all that stuff, I was kind of like, dang, I wish I knew this sooner because it actually would have helped me in my sports. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah. I got you.
But I also just realized like how much better I feel mentally and physically when I'm working out on a regular basis. And that doesn't mean working out every day for, you know, 3-4 hours. This is literally like just being consistent, like every day getting something done. Some days the workouts are longer, some days the workouts are shorter, it's depending on what my schedule is.
Okay.
But
Wait. So let me ask you this: you said that you see the effects of working out regularly as far as physically and mentally. When you're not working,
oof, it's
can
bad.
you tell the
It just feels
mental and
everything feels
physical?
bad. You feel
Okay.
like you can just tell you feel either sluggish, tired. You're not as upbeat. Like even if you're not like one of those like sunshine. Hey, when you're working out, like your mood feels better. And
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
if I have a stretch where I'm not able to work out, I can tell I get irritable faster. I get
Okay.
upset faster. And so that's just something I noticed over the course of time for me, and talking to other people, they've noticed the same thing. And that's why I try to talk fitness with a lot of people because the general public tends to only think about fitness in the terms of, oh, I need to lose weight. Whereas if that's your goal, that's fine. But people, even if you're not trying to lose weight, you still should be working out regularly. Whatever it is, like if people like swimming, go swimming. That's a workout. That's cardio. Lifting weights, running, biking. There's lots of ways to work out. There's not always one specific way to do it. I personally love lifting weights, and I've also, over the course of my career, tried to help other women realize you can lift weights without fearing you're gonna bulk up and be super muscular. Like I've been probably this size my entire life, but I'm
Gotcha.
strong as
Okay.
heck.
No, not strong.
Like I'm strong as I don't know what. And so
I
And then
feel
you get
you
in the
though.
gym and people are surprised, and I'm like, you just have to build that strength, and it's just a different way to work out. If you're trying to get super muscular, that's a different style of working out. And it's just trying to educate people on different ways to achieve their goals, and that there's different reasons to work out, and just doing it in a smart way, and trying to create some type of consistency for themselves. Consistency is different for everybody. And so one person's consistency might be, if I get 3 days a week, that's my consistency. Cool, that's consistent. 3 days every week, you're getting something done. That's consistency. You don't have to be like so and so. They work out every day and they eat so quote unquote perfect by somebody else. And it's like trying to help people find a way for them to be consistent within their schedule and what they're capable of.
That's that's
Everybody
super
has
understandable.
somewhere they can be consistent. Everybody does.
No, I like that. I like that. I'm a
And so,
fan of your approach. Like it's not like um it's not like what the heck are you doing? You're not working out. Like what? That's crazy. Like you know what I'm saying? It's um you present it in a way where it's not you're not pushy. Like um you're not judging folks and things like that. That's what I like personally. Um
yeah, I try not to be judgmental on anybody's lifestyle. We've
yeah.
all grown up differently. We've all had to deal with different things in our lives. Some have had to deal with some extreme circumstances. And so I am here to judge nobody's journey. Everybody has their own journey.
Yeah.
Good, bad, roller coasters. We all got journeys we've had to go through to get to where we are now. And so when I meet you or you meet me, I am trying to meet you where you are and to help you to get where you want to go. And if you want to
That's
share some of the other stuff, fine. But I'm not going to pry either. Like I'm not going to be trying to figure out what happened 10 years ago. Blah blah blah. Like I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist. That's not my field.
I got you.
So I try to meet people where they are when I meet them, and we try to get them to where they're trying to go. And so I don't know. When I decided to stream, I knew fitness and WNBA were going to be the two main things. It's
Uh,
funny because gaming wasn't at the top of the list, but I've definitely done a lot of gaming as well.
that's funny too. Uh but make sure y'all catch that jewel, man. Make sure she just dropped a gem just now, so make sure y'all catch that. Um
Like,
so also before we get out of here, so we started streaming, we got affiliated, we fast forward, we got the Mystic sponsorship and the Washington District Gaming um uh by way of the 2K League. Um in between there, we we joined the organization.
yes.
Um how how did that come about, and how do you think it affected your streaming, like the way you stream, what you stream, and if you want, also you could speak to people in the organization that has helped you, um, because I think it's a dope organization.
Mm.
I was in the organization, uh, but when stuff happened with me, or um, when I went through that dark time, I
Okay.
just cut everyone off.
Yeah.
Um, but the reason that you are uh, where you are with me is you were one of the people that was not about to get cut off. You was like, you know, we not we not doing that. I'm gonna be here. I know things are rough and things like that, Um, but I'm here. Not we're not doing it. You can't cut me off, especially when you need someone like right now in your corner. So I'm here, and that's one of the things I'm always be thankful and grateful uh having you uh in my life, or having you as a friend, a sister. uh I'm always hark back to that, no matter what goes on. So if you would go ahead and speak
Before I
to.
go into the org, I'm going to speak on the not letting yourself get cut off, because I know that there are definitely situations where people either get cut off or we lose people or blah 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 blah. But there are reasons that needs to happen with certain people. But if there's not a valid reason, like if something didn't happen like actually between us to cause that cutoff, where I know you're trying to cut off because you're hurting from something else, that's when I would try not to let the relationship like get cut off.
Okay, yeah,
And
that's
so I want to bring that up a little bit because there's a lot of like, cut off toxic stuff out there. And so want to make that clear as well, that like, sometimes in life there are reasons we are cut off from people, where like how do you know when to let that person be cut off and when not to, like knowing the situation. So if someone is going through a difficult time in life, it's natural to want to cut people off. And so if you are already in that circle, stay in that circle if that's the reason.
yeah.
But yes, so
I
um
appreciate you.
joining the gaming organization P3G Gaming, which is owned and run by none other than Parkalicious 3, who is another person that has been streaming a lot longer than I have. It's funny because we didn't know each other before I started streaming. So a lot of the other streamers I had at least like heard their names or been in their streams before. Um, but I didn't know of Parker before she popped up in my stream. And she
Mm-hmm.
popped in one of my streams because I was streaming the W. And she's also a huge fan of the W and a huge fan of Candace Parker. And
Yes.
so that is how that connection was made. The W, because she came in, and I will never forget that stream, because I think at some point I stopped playing and we were just going back and forth. Like she would type something in chat, I would answer, or I would ask questions. She would type. Like we would literally just go back and forth. For that last bit of the stream, like I think it was a back and forth between me and Parker. I don't know who else was in there, but that's all I remember from that stream. Once she got in there, is that we just had this ridiculous back and forth conversation about the W, and like testing each other out and seeing if each of us were actually true fans.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so after that, like we started talking more. I showed up in a few of her streams. She would be in my streams. Um, and then I think not too much longer after that, she asked me if I was thinking about being in a gaming org. And at the time, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what gaming orgs do. I don't know. I have no idea. So she was like, she sent me some info, and for a little bit we were just going back and forth. She was busy, I was busy, and so for a while we didn't really like do anything. And then she officially asked me and sent me the org like letter and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I went over it. I met some of the other people that were in the org. Met Angel, who also works really close for the org.
Yes.
um, and there's a lot of people that I met at that early stage, to be honest. Let's see. And then Blueprint, of course. He's been
Okay.
rocking with
So
Parker
so
for a long time too.
let me like just jump in right there. The Blueprint ABM is really like one of my dog. Like when I tell you, because he was one of those people too. Uh, that when I was going through, he was just he was relentless in like checking on me
Right.
and
I can see
uh,
that.
making sure that I was good and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times when people go through stuff, like when they go fi- financial troubles is financial troubles, right?
Right.
But like when people go through like other stuff,
Yeah.
um, or when people deal with depression,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, anxiety and things like that, a lot of times it could be cured by having someone to listen.
Right.
Um, because a lot of times those feelings and things like that, they come from feeling like nobody hears their cries for help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so uh, and that's big to me. One of the things that I try to do is I try my best to be a man of my word.
Right.
So it's like if I say I'm gonna do something, um, I kind of I don't know, I kind of like make sure that I get that done.
Right.
Just because I said it.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
so so the role that I take now in a lot of like friendships and things like that, I always try my best to be there to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's only 20 people that have my like phone number, and that's including family. Um, so with that being said, I feel like I'm not always available to like play something
Right.
with people,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm always available to talk.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
need somebody to talk to, I'm always available. I don't care what the hell I'm doing. Uh, but I'll tell you that the story behind that if I haven't already, um, a little later. But yeah, I'm always gonna be around for you to talk to. But yeah, so shout out to Parker, of course, and shout out to Blueprint. Um,
Blueprint ABM.
Man, Mr. Parsnips Langford. I don't. It's been a while, so I don't remember all the
I
nicknames.
know.
I don't. I don't.
I
But
know.
but
Oh
yes,
man.
Parsnip Langford is always one
But yeah.
that's gonna always stick with me because when I had him on the show, because I believe another thing that he says is like sipping his water for
Yeah,
32
alkaline
degrees.
water.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So and the name of his episode when he was on the show back in the day, I believe it was called Sophisticated Hydration. Um, so yeah, shout out to Blueprint, shout out to Parker. But yeah, when I heard the name, I just had to jump in
No,
and
you
say
good.
so. But yeah, you could go ahead and finish.
Oh man. And then you got Mello. I mean, I've
Hey,
met some really great people over these almost 2 years now. Some really great people, not just great streamers or content creators, but great people that
that's true.
have become a part of my circle that I kind of felt like a few years ago I restarted my circle a little bit. And that's why I understand too, like when you're in a dark place, like having that couple people who they're still checking on you. Like they're not trying to make you like do anything, but they're checking on you and making sure you don't disappear. Um, because I would say the year before I started streaming, I
Mm,
definitely tried to disappear. I almost did, but
I'm so glad you didn't.
um, I definitely was like, and that's when I was mostly just watching streams and I wasn't really talking to anybody. Like that whole year, I think I only talked to my mom and my two best friends. Like that's all I was talking to for like that year, just so they wouldn't go crazy and think something was wrong. But
Yeah,
um,
that's funny.
but I think at the same time, like I needed that year to kind of put myself back in the front where I could see myself. if that makes sense.
That's,
Um,
I mean, that
because for
makes
so
sense to me.
long I kind of hid, like I was going through life doing what I do, but I was like hiding. There was always something or someone in front of me. Um, and so that year before I started streaming, I spent a lot of time reflecting, meditating, and just getting to know myself all over again. Like stuff I already knew, but I had pushed to the back a lot. And so I spent that year kind of reclaiming myself again before I decided to stream because I knew streaming was like put myself front and center. So I needed to know like exactly what I wanted to do before I started, which is why another reason it took me so long to start. Um, but yeah, but that's why I totally get that. But back to the org, I've met a lot of people over these last 2 years. Have created some great friendships with everybody. Some great people to game with and just hang out with, and hopefully at some point I will be able to meet all these people in person and not just over the screen.
Okay.
That's definitely a goal for me over the next year is to be able to meet a couple people, like actually meet them in person. But yeah, the org has been great. The first year, I was actually say the first 6 months I was just in the org, and then in 2022 I actually became the coordinator for all the content creators. So
Nice.
all of last year, I was the coordinator and the point of contact for everybody that was kind of creating for the org and, checking on everybody, making sure they're doing good mentally, physically, stream wise. If they need to take a break, and just trying to make sure that everybody was taking care of themselves because that's also a big thing for me. Like if you're in my circle, I want to make sure that we're all taking care of ourselves. Like, I don't like to hear so and so is sick with this or whatever.
Yeah.
So I do my best to share the knowledge that I have so that we can all take care of ourselves and to be the best that we can be. And then just mentally staying
Be,
aware of where we are and knowing
be
that we all need
appreciative.
breaks. Like it's just a part of the whole thing. We all need breaks at some point. And so making sure that we're all doing that as well. Like we all love it, we enjoy gaming, but everybody needs a break at some point. Some people need short breaks, some people may need a longer break. But once you figure that out, you do it.
Yeah. I can I can honestly say we appreciate it. Because it's rough out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just rough out here.
It
Um.
is.
So so to change gears a little bit
Mm-hmm.
on some fun stuff. You
Okay.
being a reserved person, you being uh kind of quiet. Um, I turned on the stream one day, and Wonder Woman is playing Apex. So so um, being being who you are, how crazy was your first ever cosplay stream? Because I feel like it took a lot to like get to that, and then to see you actually, because like I was there when you were of course promoting it and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you had like a goal set up, and once that
Mm-hmm.
goal was reached, um you were going to do it, and I was like, she's not going to do that. Like that's not, no, she's not going to do that. And they reached the goal. You got your costume, and you did it. And I was like, wait, what? Nah. And and man, and you did the first of all, the costume was great. Um, and then you, I don't know. In that moment, you just did it with such. It was so effortless for real. And it also looked like you really had a good time. You're probably just like a little, just because of your personality, you was a little uncomfortable at first, but shortly after that, it was like it's just like a regular stream. Like there's no, I can't lie. I want to say I laughed for about 20 minutes. And the reason that I laughed is because I was like, I could just see. I was there from the beginning. I could see the uncomfortableness, and I was like, but she committed. She about
I
to do
was.
it. Is like she got it, and I was so proud of my friend in that moment, uh, because I was like that moment for your streaming career did it did something where she has arrived.
Right.
Uh and this is gonna be a thing. So go ahead and go ahead and let me know how crazy that was for you. And will
First
there
of
be
all,
others?
it was a community challenge. And I thought this community challenge was going to take a while, to be honest. Like when I did it, I was like, oh, it's going to take a little bit. And then next thing I know, they hit the goal. And I was like, wait, I just put that up there. Like it was not supposed to come this quick. And so initially, there was definitely a little panic once they reached the goal. Like, crap, I really got to do this now. But they did both things. They met the community goal, and then multiple people contributed so that I could get all the stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what I told them too. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to buy all this stuff. So multiple people contributed. Shout out to Common Remedy who bought the major piece. Which
Mm-hmm.
when I first picked the piece, I was like, oh, this is cute. I picked it, and when it got here, I realized just how little clothes it was, and I was like, I think I made a mistake. I was like, I think I made a mistake picking this one, but I'm like, it's too late now. Like, I don't feel like returning and trying to figure out something else. So I was like, all right, we doing it. So we scheduled it, and I put it on, and I know Chanel was probably laughing at me because I was sitting there like, oh man. And like you said, initially I was extremely nervous, like, because just not even just me being quiet, even with like what I wear, clothes wise, I generally don't show that much.
Right.
Like,
That was the for me as your friend, as your brother,
like
that
up
part
until that
right
point,
there.
if you watch my streams, you see me in
Exactly.
hoodies,
Yes.
sweats, occasional workout clothes, and then
Yes.
it
I
was
was
the
like,
Wonder Woman
what?
fit. Like, what?
That right there I was like, that had to be the craziest
Oh
part
my gosh.
to
And
to accept,
but
I
it
guess.
turned out so much better than I could have ever expected. Like you said, like once I just started gaming, I just started chatting and I stopped
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it and the
Yeah.
stream just went on like a normal stream.
It was funny though. It was definitely funny. And the
And
and
then
the
Parker
times
had
where
me laughing.
people,
Everybody had me laughing because I think was I sitting on my fitness ball at some point? I
I
did
believe
something
so.
and um they were like, you might not want to do that again. I was like, I happened to look at my screen. I was like, oh crap. We're just supposed to be kid friendly.
No. Listen, the amount of people that was coming in there and
Oh
and
my gosh.
having you model
Right.
the I was like, yo, like she don't get up this much for a normal stream. I'm like, there's no way everybody coming
You
in
know,
here and having her get up.
I'm telling you, that night I slept good as I don't know what. I was so tired, I was done. Like as soon as that stream was over, I got all this stuff off and I was gone. Like I was done energy wise. Like
That's funny as hell,
oh
bro.
man. But
I
that was such a great stream. I would
it
never forget that
was.
stream.
It
It was
was
so good.
definitely if you
And
stream for
so
like the next 10 years.
cosplay definitely was not something that was on my list,
Okay.
but I definitely want to do another one. I think this year I want to do one, two at the most, but definitely there's going to be one this year. I haven't decided when yet, but I'm gonna do another one this year as well.
Do you have characters in mind? Or who
I really
you
want to do Storm,
Storm. Yes. Okay.
but I gotta find the fit. It's been a struggle trying to find a fit for Storm, at
Storm.
least one that I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Cause Storm is like a OG.
Oh yeah,
So it will
right.
be cause see I wasn't a fan of cartoons like that.
hmm
But there were some that I I did watch.
hmm
Um so so yeah, I know Storm is an OG. So trying to find
Yeah. Well, I was like,
something
I
for
didn't watch that
Storm.
many cartoons either, but X-Men and Gargoyles, that was my two shows growing up.
Okay. I was a
And
fan
almost
of
nobody ever knows what Gargoyles is. And that's okay. That's okay.
and and I
It's a
definitely
classic.
know what Gargoyles is.
That was my cartoon, man.
I was kind of forced to watch that because coming up, like we weren't as fortunate, you know what I'm
hmm
saying? So we had to kind of like share a TV
Yep.
and things like that. So I was kind of forced to watch it because it was like, is this person time to watch what they want to watch and that kind of thing. So I was kind of forced to watch that. I can honestly say I was a fan of Darkwing Duck,
Remember Doc
and
Queen Duck?
that came on like either right after Gargoyles or so I just
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was
sat
like a
through.
series that usually they all came on right one after the other.
Yeah, so I kind
Those
of sat through that.
and Captain Planet. That was a joint.
Yes,
That was the
uh,
show.
that was another one that I was kind of. I don't know. I don't know. Captain Planet kind of grew on me, but it was in the beginning. I was definitely like forced to watch it,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It was just something about anime or animation that was a little different for me.
Right.
Uh, but like, cause I watched like stuff like the Power Rangers and stuff like that.
hmm
But it was just something I don't know. It was just something about the cartoon aspect of shows where
Yeah.
it's just
No,
like
I was the same way. That's why I said there was like a set amount of shows that I watch. Like I wasn't like watching all the cartoons out there. Like, and that was one thing that I struggled with when Chanel was small. Was like when she picked cartoons, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
no, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
But but yeah. So I definitely want to do Storm, but I gotta find the right outfit for Storm. She's an OG for sure, but she was definitely always one of my favorites.
And shout out to I call her Nelly, but shout out to
Yeah.
Chanel too, man. Uh, an amazing, amazing, amazing kid.
Yeah, she is.
And just the few interactions I've had with her, um, for one, I could tell that she's the total opposite of you.
Yeah.
uh, because she is super outgoing. Um, she's very personable. And I don't know if that's by design or it's like one
That's
of them
just how she
things.
is.
Yeah. So I I always wondered if that was like by design or it was like, oh, this is just how she is. Okay, I
That's
just
just
gotta
her.
deal with that.
Yep.
I gotta learn to
That's
adapt
like
to
one
that.
thing for me. Like when we decided to have a child, is I always knew like I wanted to help that child find who they were and not kind of push like
Gotcha.
what I wanted them to be on them. Because she's also the opposite as far as like likes. Like, I love sports. She doesn't really like sports. Like, she plays soccer, but she's not into sports. And
Yeah.
so as she's grown up, I've had her try everything. But if she does it and she does like that season or whatever it is, and she's like, I don't like it, I'm like, all right, move on to the next thing. Because I really want her as quickly as possible to get comfortable learning herself and loving herself.
That's super important too, as far as parenting goes. Super important.
Because
Uh,
a lot of outside stuff will try to push you in a lot of directions, and not even just parents, just outside stuff in general. Um, and so I wanted to make sure that her initial interaction with at least her parents was be you, figure out who you are, be you, love yourself, and trust in yourself.
great, great advice. All right, so we are about to wrap up. Listen, Blue Flames, I appreciate you so much. Um, I had to decide in making a return. I had to decide it was between you and another person, uh, as to who I wanted to be my return guest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a while back, I chose you and I just stuck with it. Uh, so first, let me apologize for not letting you know sooner. But I guess that's just how things work.
Right.
Because I know your schedule is kind of like crazy. So the fact that I plan to do this day and then you were off and
Right.
available was just crazy. Uh, so and I thank you so much for pulling up and blessing the show with your presence, your knowledge, uh, the gems that you drop. I wish you nothing but success. Um, and I don't know. Me personally, I just can't thank you enough for being there for me. Uh, I think you're one of the rare people that I fussed at when I didn't hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know it's about a good 4 or 5 people that if I don't hear from them, I really get on them and be like, hey yo,
Mm-hmm.
like this is crazy. I didn't hear from
Yeah.
you.
So I was like, I'm
Like
usually good, but it definitely was like a stretch where I didn't, and I remember. I
yeah.
remember.
I'm like, yeah, I keep my receipts and all that. Yep. I didn't hear from you since October 28th at 3:23 p.m. I ain't heard nothing from you. Like it's a whole new year. This is crazy. But nah, uh, well, like I said, I do you have before we get out of here? Do you have anything coming up, like any kind of special streams or any type of like stream schedule you want to promote? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything like that before we get out of here?
Just stay tuned. March is definitely going to be a big month. There's probably going to be a couple announcements in March, not just one, a
March. Okay.
couple. So March is definitely going to be a big month for multiple reasons. But schedule is usually the same. And then anybody that's listening that plays 2K that is interested in the WNBA mode, definitely hit me up because I'm going to be creating areas in my Discord just for that, so it's easier for people to find people to play with. So I'm working on
Okay.
that this year as well, is to have like a central space for Xbox and PS5 where they could
Gotcha.
find people that want to play in the W, because I know that gets tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I figure if I can create those spaces in the Discord, like people will have somewhere they can go to find people to play with, and work that up. But I mean, other than that, it's, he's gonna keep rolling, keep growing, continue with fitness, continue with WNBA. Schedule streams is basically the same. Typically Monday, Wednesday, and then one day on the weekend. That might be changing soon too. So, but Yeah, March will be a big month, and yep, hit me up if you want to play some W. I'm typically on Xbox. Hopefully, at some point, I'll be able to get a PS5, but we shall see. We'll see if that's in the cards. Um, but yeah, definitely try to create that space for W mode players and get that
Got you.
rolling.
Well, listen. This is just because of where you are in my life and in my family's life. This is definitely moved up to one of my favorite episodes because I actually had a chance to uh, get you on the show, tell a bit of your story, um, and just discuss with you because we talk, you know, uh, regularly, but this was important for me to have. I guess kind of like when I don't talk to you,
Right.
because I always go back and like listen to episodes and stuff like that, and I try to,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like film study type stuff.
Right.
Uh, and but even with that, I always like catch something that I didn't catch and
Right.
things like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so having this on record now to where I'll be able to go back and check it out is pretty dope. Um, so before I get out of here, I wanna officially um let you guys know that show merch is now available.
Nice.
Uh, the link will be in the description. Eventually, I have to get back on there and have some more stuff or some more ideas that I want to add to it. Eventually, I'm going to be able to come up with like a small care package. So when I have guests on the show, I can send them kind of like a thank you package of stuff like a shirt, a pen, stuff like that for being on the show. Uh, because I hear people say a lot that they're honored that I asked them to be on the show,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, I'm grateful that you said yes. Uh, so when I ask anybody to be on the show, when they say yes, I'm I'm thankful and grateful that you said yes because you taking time out of your day to come sit down with me and have a conversation and be interviewed. I'm not, you know, I'm not Rachel Nichols or nobody like that, but you know, I just I'm a small streamer myself. Uh, but creating this platform for people to come on and tell their story
Sorry.
was
Mm-hmm.
super important to me.
Yeah. It's needed. I
Um,
think it's great that you do it.
I appreciate that as well. Um, so yeah, links will be in the description. This will go live on uh, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Um, I said Saturday morning, but I'm gonna do it Friday morning. Friday morning, this will go live. Uh, Flames, I appreciate you
I
for
appreciate
coming
you.
through.
I told you. I say that I'm honored because I always see myself as like flying under the radar.
You're very underrated. I will say that you are
So
underrated.
when people invite me to do stuff, I'm like, oh shoot, somebody invited me to something. Okay.
You are underrated. Like as a as a person. Like
Oh man.
when I say that, I mean that people people don't know what they're missing not knowing you.
Yeah. Part of that
Uh,
is on me too, because like I said, for a long time I purposely have hidden myself, and so part of this whole Lady Blue Flames and the streaming and the social media is kind of my way of making a little bit more of me more available. Not all of me, but a little bit more of me.
I got that. I get that. That that actually makes a lot of sense. Honestly, it really does. But so in closing, um, you already know the motto, man. You got it super backwards. If you think I wouldn't rep us, because you know that's super spelled backwards is rep us. Um, and as always, be dope, grind, and believe, man. On that note, man, we out of here.
Deuce.
Matrix in his bag.